Right, okay. Let me put what are the main characteristics of product layout, because this assembly line balancing totally related to product layout. Right? So in facility layout, basically we like just forget product and the process. If we consider facility layout, right, the physical arrangement of operation resources. So mainly with the like there are different types that we use to arrange this physical operational resources, right? In process layout, what we do is we arrange the operational resources based on the usage of people. I mean, like we locate the common, how could I say, like, for an example, if we consider, let me take an example. Last week we have discussed about the hospital. So we will take a retail supermarket, right? In a retail supermarket, we can find the process layout code, facility layout code, process layout. Process layout in the sense, but then in the retail supermarket, right? So there's no any step-by-step process, but they have done based on the machines. I mean, like for an example, if we consider the what do you call these pharmaceutical items, right? They have a separate area that is for the pharmacy, and they have located all the, I mean, like medical and the, basically the pharmacy in one place, right? Grouping similar resources into a one location, and that is a main common characteristic of process layout, right? Not only that, if we consider the grocery items also, but they have located them based on the similarity, right? In process layout, companies group operational resources based on the purpose, I mean, like based on the usage of the machines. In one place, but they locate all the similar types of resources. In another location, we can find other set of resources. Those resources are similar types of resources. In the same facility, in another location, we can find a separate area, and in that area, we can find another similar set of resources. Right? One good example is, as I previously, I mean, last week explained with the hospital, right? Hospital has separate areas based on the, like, for example, they have separate area for the radiology. In the radiology unit, so we can find all the machines related to these X-ray, MRI scan, right? And they have separate location for the wards. They have separate location for the kitchen, right? They group similar types of resources, similar types of machine in one place. But if we consider product layout, it's totally different, right? In a product layout, we can find very clear step-by-step process, right? If we consider hospital, there can be different types of patients. They use different parts, they don't follow the same process, same flow. Patient කෙනෙක් ගත්තොත් එයා යන්නේ මම එක patient කෙනෙක් ගත්තොත් එයා යන process එක වෙනස්. එයා සමහරට මොනින්ම OPD එකට ගිහලා then we'll move on to the wards. There can be another patient, right? That particular patient is not going for the OPD, directly getting the admission for the wards, right? And then for the theatre surgery, right? So in that way, the different patients use different flows. That's why those organizations group similar types of resources in same place. But if we consider product, especially for an example, we'll take this apparel manufacturing location or the they arrange their physical layout based on a very clear step-by-step process, right? if we consider sewing a shirt, right? What they do is first they cut the panel. To cut the panel, there's a workstation. Then after that particular workstation, they directly send it to the component sewing section. Step-by-step process. Then there's another workstation. That particular workstation focuses on assembling these components. Then there's another workstation, right? Step-by-step process to cut them, packaging, right? Then finally auditing the final shirt. Very clear step-by-step process. So in the work, when it comes to the product layout, there are like workstations, right? Different workstations. Once the activities related to first workstation finished, then they send those items to the second workstation, right? Once the activities related to second workstation is finished, then they send them to the third workstation, step-by-step process. In assembly line balancing, right? That is the today's topic. What the focus is with it, I have mentioned this assembly line balancing is something related to product layout type, not for the process layout type. Because the process layout type එකේ පොතේ අපිට එහෙම අර එක flow එකක් නැහැ. Right? But in product layout type we can find all the products are like following the same step-by-step process. So in assembly line balancing, what they focus, when it comes to these workstations, there can be idle time. Idle time in the sense due to different, using the term issue or the problem with it, due to different concerns, due to different reasons, there can be some minutes that employees of the machines are not working. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ වැඩ කරන වෙලාවේ විනාඩි 5 10ක් සමහර ප්‍රොඩක්ට් වල idle වෙනවා. ඒකට කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ වැඩ ඉවර කරලා they have to wait till they get the other unit, next unit. Right? In assembly line balancing, what they focus is they try to reduce this idle time. Right? They try to they try to reduce the idle time to the maximum possible level. Okay, so they are trying to balance these workstations. Imagine, let me take a practical example, then you can understand the calculations. We'll take this apparel manufacturing, right? Hypothetically, we'll think there are like altogether 5 workstations. First, cutting section, right? One section, right? One workstation. We'll take one. We'll consider one workstation that is for the cutting. Then there's another workstation for that is for the component side, right? Then there's another workstation number 3, that is for the assembly of these components. Then the 4th workstation is for the packaging. Then the final workstation number 5 is for the finishing for the, like once packaging is finished. So they check randomly, they take some shirts and they check whether all the dimensions are according to the specification. If there are any differences, they present it to the starting point and they have to rework, right? So then altogether there are 5 workstations. Then for the assembly line balancing, what they do in workstation number 1, they are cutting the panels. So then they try to include as much as possible activities or the operations to that particular workstation. ඉතනක දැනට workstation එකේ වෙන්නේ activities cutting section එකේ මම උදාහරණයක් ගන්න green cutting section. So they do only 2 main operations, right? But if you consider this workstation for the idle time per unit is average 2 minutes. A workstation එක ඇතුලේ mainly focus on operations දෙකයි. When we calculate the idle time per unit, it's 2 minutes. Right? In the workstation number 2, they focus on altogether 3 main operations and idle time per unit is 1.5 minutes. Right? Then in workstation number 3, right, in the assembly section, they focus on altogether 7 operations. Right? Idle time is altogether 3 minutes per unit. එක unit එකක් ඉවර කරලා විනාඩි 3ක් ඉන්නවා ඊළඟ operation එකට යන idle time එකක් තියෙනවා. ඊළඟ operation එක නෙමෙයි to like proceed with the next production unit. So in same way, workstation number 3, workstation number 4, workstation number 5 also have different idle times and different operations. In assembly line balancing, what we focus, we try to include operations as much as possible for one workstation, and we try to reduce the idle time in these workstations. Workstations optimize කරන්න තමයි assembly line balancing බලන්නේ. Like assembly line balancing focuses on optimization of the workstation. Optimizations in the sense, it focuses on reducing the idle time of each workstation. Now, when we are doing the calculations, you will realize what I have explained. We'll first write down with a subtopic, assembly line balancing. Assembly line balancing. Just write down anything, right? Just only write down the line, assembly line balancing. Then I will first give you the steps, because in some steps you all need to familiar with some formulas. First, I will give you the process of doing this calculation. Then we'll take an example and apply those formulas and all, right? First, write down first step, right? This is the first step that we need to follow in assembly line balancing questions. Determining the same thing with it. Determining the precedence relationships. I will give you an example. Determining the precedence relationships. Correct write down the spelling precedence. I will give you an example to show you what is this precedence relationship. This is an example for precedence relationship, right? These are operations with it. If we consider this scenario, if we consider sewing a shirt, it has different operations. Here, not the workstation, but the individual operation, right? In the first level, what we focus on, we try to identify the tasks that we have to proceed in terms of finishing one production unit, right? So here with the, like, for example, if we consider sewing a shirt, right? First step or the first task can be, first operation can be cutting the panel, right? Shirt again, panel like a cut. Then sewing the components. Color sewing, right? In the component sewing section, there can be different operations, right? Collar sewing, sleeve sewing, then the front panel, back panel sewing, then the button attaching, different operations. Here A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H in the sense, those operations with it, right? Not the workstation, just operations. So here, for an example, this can be cutting the panel, right? Then this can be sewing the collar, something like that, different operations, right? This is an example for precedence relationship, right? Here, we include operations within a circle, and above the circle, we mention the time per operation. In order to cut the panel, it consumes 1 minute, right? Something like that, precedence relationship. Then let me take you to the second step. For an example, you can draw this, right? That is called precedence relationship. This is just an example. You can like draw whatever the diagram that you wish. So this is just an example. In all the operations, I mean above the circles, but you all need to mention the time. So for the all operations, we need to mention the time. Right, then write down second step. Determining cycle time. I will give you the formula. Determining cycle time. Determining cycle time. Write down this formula. Required cycle time, we denote by capital C today. Cycle time usually we denoted by capital C. Right? I will explain the formula first right now. Available production time per day. Here was this. Now pay attention. If you finish writing the formula, pay attention. So here what we do is we first take two figures. One is available production time per day. That means for this, if we consider manufacturing plant, it has a particular production hours within 8 hours. Right? Production එක කියන වෙලාවක් තියෙනවා. 7 hours. Shift එක ගත්තොත් 8 to 5 or 8 to 10. Right? So there's a time period. Okay? Production time available per day. It's not available per unit. Right? Production time available per day. දවසකට කොච්චර වෙලාවක් දෙනවද ඔක්කොම production එක කරගෙන යන්න. For example, it can be 8 hours. So if we convert it into minutes, right? 8 into 60, then it is 480 minutes. Right? Because the operations are in minutes. So in that case, always it's better to consider the available production time per day in minutes. Right? දවසට පැය 8ක් වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් එතකොට අපිට පැය 8 හැටෙන් වැඩි කරා විනාඩි ගානක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. That means we have 480 minutes to produce the required number of units. Right? Then we divide it by required output per day. Right? So if it is, imagine within a day, the production target is, right? If we consider 1K, the production target is 100 units. That is the requirement. Within the day, they need to produce 100 units. Right? So then what we do is we divide 480 by 100 units. That is the answer for the formula. What is the meaning of this? What we get once we divide production time available per day by required amount of units, what is the answer? But what we get, what is the meaning of the answer? It's very easy, but you should know this. Then only you can understand the calculations. Otherwise, you all will technically do that, but you don't know what you are doing. So if when you are like logically think and doing the calculations, you know exactly what you are doing. Anyway, that is the production time, maximum production time per unit. Right? It's only maximum of 4.8 minutes. Right? Maximum time per unit. Right? Okay, write down the third step. Calculate theoretical minimum number of workstations. Calculate theoretical minimum number of workstations. So let me show you the formula. Theoretical minimum number of workstations we denote by usually denote by N capital N simple T. In order to get the answer for theoretical minimum number of workstations, we should know the cycle time. So here we calculate the workstation requirement, right? Workstation requirement in the sense, in order to produce 1 unit, right, we have only 4.8 minutes, right? So there can be several steps, right, several operations, but still company has only 4.8 minutes per unit, right? So then for that, now we need to consider we need to calculate the workstation requirement. In order to produce 1 unit, how many workstations that we need to assign or like, imagine whether there are altogether 10 operations, right? Now we need to understand, okay, we have 10 operations. In order to assign these operations, right, they need to find the, let me make this sentence more easy to understand. You need to get the understanding of this. Right, okay. Here, just forget the technicality or the technical part of this. In the formula, what we do is first we take the sum of task time. That means whether the total time of the operations. We get the total of the operations, right? So then we divide that total from the or by the cycle time, right? Cycle time in the sense that is the maximum time available per unit. So here, what we do is, as I mentioned, we calculate the requirement of the workstations, right? Workstations in the sense where they, now imagine there's an organization, that organizations need to proceed with 20 number of operations to complete 1 production unit, right? Now in the layout planning, right, when they are planning the layout, they need to locate workstations for these operations, right? So here they calculate the workstation requirement. When we are doing the calculation, you will understand. Simply here what we do is we calculate the workstation requirement. මේ operations ටික දාන්න workstations කොච්චර ඕනේද කියන එක තමයි calculate කරන්නේ. Right? That is the meaning. But always keep it in your mind that this is theoretical minimum number of workstations. So when we practically assigning tasks among the workstations, this answer can be, like this, definitely this answer can be changed. Right? Workstations practically when we are assigning the operations among these 5 workstations, right? It will sometime ended up with 6 workstations or the 7 workstations. Practically when we are assigning, it will get changed, right? Then write down the 4th step, balance the line by assigning specific tasks to workstations. Here what we do is something like this. First finish writing, then I will show you an example. Once we know the number of workstation required to produce one unit, then we need to decide for each workstation what are the operations that we are going to assign. In the third step, we are just calculating the required number of workstations. Which are workstations only. That's it. We are not going to assign any of the tasks among those workstations. We just take the workstation numbers. Right? Then in the fourth step only today, we are like assigning the identified operations, the identified tasks among the workstations. It's something like this. I will do this calculation with you. Here, it's something like this. These are workstations, right? Among these workstations, imagine from the calculation, theoretical minimum number of workstations, we got the answer, like when we are calculating it, we got the answer as 4 workstations. Right? Then we keep 4 workstations. And for these 4 workstations, we need to assign the tasks. Task right? We need to assign those 12 tasks among these workstations. Right? So these are operations. Operations of the task. Right? Task A, task B, task G, C, D, E, F, H. These are different tasks. So we need to assign tasks among these workstations. That is the meaning of fourth step. Right? Then write down. Write down these 2 points as step number 5 and step number 6. Then we'll do the calculations. You will understand the meaning of those 2. But this shall we write down like this? You don't need to erase anything. Sometimes you may let me extend and decide whether you have to erase or not. Here you have mentioned this one as step number 4. Then here probably you all have written it as step number 5. Sorry, it's my I made a mistake. Rather writing down this as step number 5, it's better to write down step number 4.1. 4 came a Kerala, right? Step number 4.1. Then here write down it as step number 4.2. And separate these 2 are coming under step number 4. අර වෙනමම ලියන්න එපා. Still, you don't know what are these assignment rules. I will explain them later. I will give a small point for the make task assignment and evaluate the solutions. Once you finish writing, I will give a small note for that. For the last point, write down within brackets, calculating for the last one, 4.2. Within brackets, write down, calculating idle time. Calculating idle time and efficiency rates. And efficiency rate. So under that, write down this formula as well. This one. Sum of task time be divided by actual number of workstations into cycle times. Actual number of workstations we denoted by NA. Right, okay. I will give you a question, then we'll do the example, then we'll move on to past paper questions. So write down question or example. ABC company, ABC company. Manufacture, ABC company manufactures portable fans. Portable fans. Portable fans. The process of assembling, the process of assembling A fan has the following task. Has the following task. Within brackets, write down the operations. Tasks in the sense operations. Continue. Note that the manufacturing plant operates for 7 hours per day. 7 hours per day. And it is required to produce hundred units per day. When they write down this table, If it's an urgent call, just go out of the class and on that one. It's not a goal though. Then put the write down requirement. After the table, write down the remaining part of the question. I will give you 1 minute, first finish writing the table. Requirement. First one. Determine cycle time. Sorry. Determine cycle time. Draw the precedence diagram. Draw. Second one. Second requirement. Draw the precedence diagram. Precedence. Third one, calculate theoretical minimum number of workstations. Theoretical minimum number of workstations. Capital L, simple T. Within that, symbol like I mean we are denoting it through 18. Fourth one, assign the tasks. Assign the tasks. Among workstations, assign the tasks among workstations based on the rule of largest number of following tasks. Okay, right. Write down this one also, but calculate fifth requirement, calculate total idle time and efficiency rate. Calculate total idle time and efficiency rate. First, we'll draw equation to the. I have asked you to first calculate the cycle time. But for the usually we first draw the precedence diagram. Ulima diagram में कैंडला तमा इसकी calculations are right. So in that case, today we will start with drawing the precedence diagram for this. Meantime, go through the table and see whether you all can get an idea on this drawing of precedence diagram. I will draw it. First, go through the diagram and see whether you can draw it. Okay, then see whether you can draw this. Rather wait until I explore this from here and try to draw this and see whether you all are capable to draw the precedence diagram. Right, okay, some of you all have done it correctly. Very good. So, first I will draw, then I will explain. So this is the precedence diagram. First row, then I will explain. So in the examination also, make sure to write down the time per operation. I mean time per task above the circles. If you are not writing the time, then I'm not giving you the full marks for the diagram. If I'm allocating 2 marks, then you all will get only 1.5 or 1 marks. Right, okay. So here, now pay your attention. In the table, right, we can find all together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tasks. Right, altogether there are 8 tasks. That means in order to produce one portable fan, we need to proceed with all these 8 operations. Right? So then for that, if we consider task A, that is the first task, and since it is first task, we don't need to finish any other task in order to start task A. Directly we can start task A, right? And we need to mention the time of the task as well. Then in the table, it says the second task as B, right? And the time per task, I mean time for operation is 1 minute, and the predecessor or the predecessors. Kalim task predecessor it's A. That means in order to start task B, definitely we need to complete task A. Right? Without completing task A, we cannot start task B. Right? Then when it comes to task C, under the predecessors, it says none. That means that then in order to start task C, we don't need to complete task B or task A directly. Simultaneously or parallelly, we can start task C also. A patan gannakottama we can start task C. Because in order to start task C, we don't need to complete any other task. C එක පටන් ගන්න කලින් එකක්වත් ඉවර කරලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. කෙලින්ම පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන් as task A. Right? In the if you are going through the table, you will realize under, I mean, when it comes to the task C, under the predecessors, it says none. Right? Then, when it comes to task D, right, the predecessors are task A and C. We cannot start task D if it is only, I mean, imagine for the task C is not task C, task A is completed because it takes only 2 minutes, but still task C is operating. So we cannot start task D. Once both of these tasks are finished only, we can start task D. The task D එක පටන් ගන්න ඉතින් එක විවරණයක් ගන්න ඕනේ. දෙකම එක වෙලේ කරනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Whether task A task B because when it comes to the predecessors, it's clearly mentioning A and C, right? So then once these two are completed, we can start task D, right? Then in task E, it says predecessor is task D. Once task D is finished, we can start task E, right? Then for the task E, predecessor is, and for the task F, predecessor is task E. Once E completed, we can start F. Right? Now pay attention for the task G. In the table, it says, in order to, like, under the predecessor is B. B, G F predecessor B. Right? We don't need to wait till all these tasks are getting finished. Once task B is finished, they can start task G. Because for the task G, predecessor is task B. Right? So carefully go through the table, then you will understand. You have to go through the table, then only you can realize it. Right? B G just go to the column predecessor. It says predecessor is B. Then once B is finished, they can start task D. When it comes to the final task, task H, the predecessors are F and H, F and G. Once G and F completed, right, they can start H and they can complete task H as well. Right? This is how we are drawing a precedence diagram. When we are like drawing more, you will get the practice, and without any problem, you can do this, right? This is not a technically difficult thing about that. So once you get the practice, you can draw. Right? Now we have to calculate cycle time. Calculate when you put number 2, cycle time, and calculate cycle time. You can find the formula from the note. Cycle time is available production time per day divided by sum of task time. Sum of task time. You have to get the sum of you need to get the total time for that. Total operation time. Activities are the Sorry, but I made a mistake. What I have mentioned is I have asked you to divide production time available per day from total task time. Task time is theoretical minimum number of workstations. And then you need to take what do you call this production rate figure. Required production units per day can come a available production time per day divided by required output or the required production unit per day. So here today, in the question it says 7 hours. I have asked you to keep it as minutes for the Gana Mulim spent at Ghana and Mulim explanations and the monkey are a minutes in Tiaga. Again, with the sum of the time we copy the minutes and it's a hacker editor. But how say this sent by Silver? And say it's 4.2 minutes. Available production time per day. 3 divided by cycle time is 4.2 minutes. Maximum company can allocate 4.2 minutes to produce one unit. एक यूनिट එකක් හදන්න maximum allocate කරන්න පුළුවන් විනාඩි 4.2. Then calculate theoretical minimum number of workstations. Calculate third one, theoretical minimum number of workstations, NT. Now you need to take the sum of task time. So here what is the answer for sum of task time? You have to take the total of task time to 7.35 just to this. 2, 1, 3.25, 1.2, 0.5, 1, 1, then 1.4. Task time ticket is right? Then you will get it as 7.35 minutes. When we divide it by 4.2 minutes. So the answer is, you will get the answer as to the 2.702, right? Here we calculate workstations, so we cannot keep workstation in decimal place, right? here we are not rounding it off today. The thing is here anyway, it's like above 2.5, so we consider it as 3 workstations. Metan round it off එකක් කරන්නේ නැහැ, right? මෙතන හිතන්නකො answer එක එනවා 2.15. Right? 2.15. Then what you all will do is, if you are going to round it off, what you do is you will consider it as 2 workstations. No පුතේ. මෙතන 1.01 වුණා, you need to consider as 3 workstations. එකකට වඩා වැඩි වෙනවා නැත්නම් දෙකට වඩා දශමයකින් හරි වැඩි වෙනවා නම්, so that means like we need to have another workstation, right? So then we consider it as 3 workstations. Don't round it off. Itu මෙතන 2.05 you need to consider as 3. Right? Now read the 4th requirement. So now you need to assign the task based on largest number of following tasks. Right? Largest number of following tasks is the sense for the each task has following tasks. So following tasks if we consider it the final task, it doesn't, I mean like for the H, there's no any following tasks, right? Since it's the final one. But if we consider all other tasks with it, right? They do have different following tasks, right? Before moving on to assign tasks among the workstations, we need to find the number of following tasks for all, for all the tasks. We need to calculate the following number of following tasks for each and every task, right? So here what you can do is you can draw a small table. This is coming under 4th requirement. You need to assign tasks. Before moving on to assigning the task, we need to first calculate the number of following tasks for all the tasks, right? Let me do with you first. Consider task number 8. Tell me like how many of so if we consider task A, what is the answer for the number of following tasks? Number of following tasks. Consider task A and tell me the answer for the number of following tasks. It's for the it's not 2. It's 6 tasks, right? These are the only direct following tasks. Nobody, right? If we consider G, E, F, H, right? We have to write first finish task A. If we are not finishing task A, then we cannot start B, we cannot start task D, then even we cannot have C, G, H, and F, right? So if we consider these 6 tasks, right, depend on task A. So if when we are calculating the number of following tasks for task A, we need to consider all of these tasks. So then altogether there are 6 tasks, right? Then for the task B, what is the answer? For task B, it's only 2. G and H. And for the task C, it's 4. Task C B, E, F, H. Then for the task D, it's 3. E, F, H. Then for the task D, it has 2 following tasks. E got the theta percentage, F, H. Then if we consider F, it has only 1 task, following task, H. And if we consider G, G also has only 1 following task. For the task H, it's none. Actually, person could then H month depend on his task becomes then it's not, right? So now move on to the table. A has 6. Now we need to remake the task order based on the assignment rule today, right? Understand the table? No, it's something like this, right? So here for the first step, let me explain. Then you can draw two tables. Then I will give. So focus on here. First, what I have done, I have written the tasks according to the initial order. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, K, that is the initial order. Then this column is for the number of following tasks. Here we calculate number of following tasks for each task. Right? Task A, we have calculated A has 6 following tasks. A පස්සේ පටන් ගන්න task 6ක් තියෙනවා. ඒක තමයි අපි මෙතන ලියන්නේ. That is what we are writing here. Right? Then if we consider task B, it has 2 following tasks. Right? That is also clear for the B වලට පස්සේ තියෙන task දෙකයි. Then if we consider task C, it has 4 following tasks. Right? These are not the operating time or any table. Here we mention the number of following tasks. Task එකට පස්සේ කීයක් තියෙනවද කියන එක. Task එක base කරගෙන task කීයක් start කරනවා. That's all. Then for the task D, it has 3 following tasks. For the task E, it has 2, F has 1, G has 1, H has none. Actually, possible value is 0. Here for the, so then we need to rank these tasks for the based on the number of following tasks. There's no any doubt. Task A has highest number of following tasks, so we need to rank it as number 1. Make it clear for the වැඩිපුරම task following task තියෙන task A. Right? Then we number it as 1. Then when we go through the following number of tasks, right, we can see that C has highest number of following tasks. C has 4. So then we need to order task C as the second task. Then we go through the number of following tasks. Okay. Then we find this number 3, right? That is the next highest number. So 3 following tasks is for task D. ඊට පස්සේ වැඩිපුරම following tasks ටිකක් දෙන්නේ task D එකට. So then we have to order task D, or we have to rank task D as the third task. ඒකත් clear නේ? Therefore there are the small confusions, right? If we consider, then we are going through the number of following tasks: A done, C done, D done, right? So then we have number of following tasks, 2 number of following tasks for B and E. Right? Both tasks have 2 following tasks in same level, right? So then what we do is, according to the precedence diagram, we first row B, right? So then we mention task B as the 4th task, right? And task E as the 5th task. Logically, when we are like assigning the task today, we can first assign sometime task E also. It depends. I will explain. Like what we do is we go through the precedence diagram And according to the precedence diagram, first we will start task B. So we give number 4 for the task B. Then we rank task C as the fifth one. Right? Then another confusing point, that is task F and G. Both of them have same following task. Same thing with it. We rank we rank F as 6th task, and then we rank G as 7th task. H, there's no any following task for the task H, so it becomes task or the 8th task. ඔබ තමයි ඕඩ් එක හැදෙන්නේ. මේක බේස් කරන් තමයි ඕඩ් එක හැදෙන්නේ. මම මේ පැත්තෙන් දාලා තියෙන්නේ ඕඩ් එක. Right? Then we have a people then you all will get confused. But what I have done, then I have written them according to the order. Task A first, then task C, then task D, right? Then task B, then task E, F, G, H. In this column, I have mentioned the operation time. That's what I have done. When we want numbers in the මේ පැත්තට ඕඩ් එකක් විදියට ඇඳලා තියෙනවා. මේ ඕඩ් එකට තමයි we need to assign tasks among workstations. Right? Do this with it, then I will give you the break. After the break, we'll assign the tasks among workstations and we'll calculate idle time and the efficiency rates. If you have finished drawing this table, you can take the break. Individual assignment also. So I will extend the deadline. Deadline with them. I will extend the deadline. So we discuss the individual assignment today. Take the break and come. Yes. Right, okay with it. So according to, now pay attention. Now we need to assign the tasks among the workstations. And that is the next requirement. So based on the largest number of following tasks, we need to assign all the tasks among 3 workstations. Right? Because from the theoretical minimum number of, why did you get late with it? Okay, can I miss it on? Okay, then politely. Excuse කරන්න පුළුවන් හේතුවක් නෙමෙයි. ඊයේවදී මොනවද මොකක්ද ස්ටොක් කවුන්ට් එක මොනවද තිබුණාද? අයියෝ මගේ ඉවෙන් ඉස්සරහට මෙන්න ඉන්නේ කියන්නේ එහෙම මට තරක් වෙනකොට පොඩ කලින් කියන එන්න පොඩ එහෙම කමක් නැහැ. අර එහෙම එකපාරට ඇවිත් ඉඳගෙන ඉන්න පැත්තට ඩිසිප්ලින් නැහැ නේද? අර මගේ කෙකේ නම් එනේ හොයතොට අනිත් කියන්නේ මානිට වෙයි සිම්පල්. Right, okay. So here put it. We have to assign tasks among the 3 workstations because from the calculation we got the answer. It's 3 workstations, right? So here what we do is just go like write down the question and step by step go through it. Then you will realize what we have done. If there's any point that you cannot understand, so then you can directly speak to me and take the clarifications. Okay? Right. Here, now we need to assign the task among these workstation 1, 2, and 3. For this each workstation, we have for each workstation and for one unit, right? We have maximum of 4.2 minutes. That is cycle time like according to the calculation. In order to produce one unit, we have maximum of 4.2 minutes, right? If we consider these workstations, right? In order to produce one unit, we can allocate maximum of 4.2 minutes. Make a workstation එකක් හදන්න විනාඩි 4.2යි maximum තියෙන්නේ. Right? Okay. Then here this is the order that we need to assign the task. First we need to assign A, C, D, and B and E are in the same level, and F and G, then finally H. Right, okay, we'll start with task A. First I will assign, then I will explain. Right? So we need to assign task A first. Workstation 1 has 4.2 minutes. So then for the task A, we have to allocate 2 minutes. Then the balance time is 2 minutes. 2.2, sorry. Then we have to assign task C. According to the rule, we need to assign task C. But can we assign task C under workstation 1? Because for the workstation 1 per unit, it has maximum of 4.2 minutes for it, right? So here 4.2. In order to complete task A, we need to allocate 2 minutes. So then once we deduct 2 minutes from 4.2 minutes, now we have only 2.2 minutes remaining in workstation 1. Workstation 1 එක ඇතුලේ තියෙන විනාඩි 2.2යි තව. මොකද අපි විනාඩි 4.2කින් දෙකක් ඒකට already දීලා ඉවරනේ. Now we have only 2.2 minutes. But in order to produce task C, we need to have 3.25 minutes. Then we cannot assign because the remaining minutes are not sufficient to start and finish task C. So then definitely we have to assign task C under workstation number 2. Right? But with it, let me assign task C under workstation number 2, then I will come to the next point. Right? So then we are assigning task C under workstation number 2. Workstation number 2 also has 4.2 minutes. For the task C, we need to allocate 3.25. We have assigned task C under workstation number 2. Right? Workstation number 2 also has 4.2 minutes. So once we assign task C, right? Workstation number 2 also has another 0.95 minutes. Workstation 2 So then when we consider task D, can we assign task D under workstation number 2? Can't, right? the remaining time is not sufficient to assign task D. In order to start and complete task D, we need to allocate 1.2 minutes, but the remaining time is 0.95. Right? From other round, you all may think why we cannot assign task D under workstation 1. If we cannot workstation 1 then for the task D, we need only 1.2 minutes. Why then we cannot assign task D among under workstation number 2? Can't do this because without completing task C, we cannot start task C. Even though that's the remaining time in workstation 1, right? Without completing task C, we cannot start task D. According to the precedence diagram, right? We cannot start task D without completing task C. Workstation 1 we have to wait till this task C finish. Right? Then only we can assign task D. Then we are coming to the next one. B. We can assign task B under workstation 1 right? Because the predecessor of task B is task A. Right? Now when it comes to the workstation 1, now it's in the progress. Right? Once it's finished, then we can start task B. The remaining time also sufficient. Right? So then we assign task B here. Now we have 2.2. In order to complete task B, we need only 1 minute. So another 1.2 minutes also remains. Right? Hope I'm communicating to you. But if there's any doubt, just ask from me. Then they are coming to task E. Right? Right? Only task that we can assign, if we consider task C, task F, in order to start these E and F, we need to complete task C. Then only we can proceed with them. So the time being, we just need to keep these 2 tasks. Then we are coming to task G. Go to precedence diagram. In order to go through precedence diagram, in order to start task G, we just only need to complete task B. Am I right? Then under workstation 1, why not we can assign task D? Right? So it's like here we have another 1 minute remaining then. Right? 1.2 minutes remaining. For the task G, we need only 1 minute. Right? So then we assign task G under workstation 1. We are going through the rule also. Right? Plus, we are checking whether the predecessor is finished or not. Let us consider that. Rule we are checking whether the predecessor is finished or not. If it is finished only, we can assign. Right? Okay, then G, here we have 1.2 minutes. For the task G, we need to have only 1 minute. So in workstation 1, we have another 0.2 minutes, but then if you go through the task list, there are no any tasks which takes 0.2 minutes. ඔක්කොම 0.5 වලට වඩා වැඩි වෙන තියෙන. එතන මේ විනාඩි දශම 2 we cannot do anything. That's becomes an idle time. Right? Okay. Now we are going through the remaining tasks. Now definitely we have to go to workstation number 3. Right? There's no any other option to this. Right? So then we assign task D under workstation number B. For the workstation number 3 also we have 4.2 minutes. Then for the task B, we need to allocate 1.2 minutes. Then we have another 3 minutes. Right? They give me 1 second. Right, okay. So then we have another 3 minutes. So we have another 3 tasks to assign. E, F, and H. Right? So now for the, like according to the assignment rule, we need to next assign task E. Right? So we have sufficient time, we assign task E. We have 3 minutes. For the task E, it takes 0.5. So we have another 2.5 minutes. Then we are going to task F. After E, we need to consider F. We have 2.5 minutes. For the task F, we need to assign 1 minute. So then we have 1.5 minutes remaining. Then for the remaining time is sufficient to complete task H also. Right? Then we don't need to go for another workstation. In this case, for the theoretical minimum number of workstations totally equal to the actual number of workstations. Practically, when I assign theoretically calculate workstations numbers assign all the tasks. Right? So then there's no any change between actual number of workstations and the theoretical minimum number of workstations. Right? So then we assign the last task here, H. So we have 1.5. For that we need to allocate 1.4. Then here we have only 0.1 minute. Right? Draw this table. Open body ke liya the pidiwata liyanna bæ because it's not like whiteboard. It is ogala liya the pidiwata liya ganna. If there's anything which is not clear to you, just ask from me. One unit. Yes, that is scientific. So it's not a rule. It gets changed when it comes to another page. It can be 5 minutes. It can be changed. It's based on the calculation. The total idle time as well. Station 1. It has an idle time of 0.2 minutes. In workstation number 2, it has another idle time of 0.95 minutes. In workstation number 3, it has 0.1 minutes as idle time. So just add those three figures, then you will get the answer. Total idle time. It is 1.25 minutes. Calculate the efficiency also put in. Calculate the efficiency. That's why today, shall we quickly go through the individual assignment? Just download it and open the individual assignment guideline and see the deadline that I have given to you to complete the individual assignment. Whichever efficiency rate, you need to get the answer as 90.07%. Am I right? You need to divide sum of task time, that is 11.35 by 12.6. 12.6 we have to multiply actual number of workstations from the cycle time. 12.6 NA, we need to multiply actual number of workstations from cycle time. Then you will get the answer as 12.6. So then we need to divide 11.35 by 12.6. It's something like this with it. Sum of you can get the formula from the note I have given it to you. 11.35. Then actual number of workstation is 3. We multiply by cycle time, it's 4.2. Then 11.35 divided by 12.6. You will get the answer at 0.9007. You need to keep it as a percentage for the 90.07. Right? So did you go download the individual assignments? So the deadline for the individual assignment is July 25th, right? So I will give you, let me check whether you can finish it within 4 minutes. Task 2 you can do, right? Based on the content coverage, I mean, like we have completed chapter number 4, right? Today itself we are completing it. So you can do task number 2. But for in the assignment, you cannot like do task number 1 without having the knowledge related to location plan. Task 1 එක තියෙන location planning වලින්. එතකොට මට location planning කරන්න තව සති දෙකක් යනවා. එතකොට July 25th you all cannot finish it නේ. So I will extend the deadline. Don't worry, right? I will give you like another 2 weeks. මොකද ඔකට කරන්න බෑ. ඒක මගේ පැත්තෙන් උස ඔකට පාඩම කියලා දීලා බෑ. You all can start and finish it. So in that case with it, I will extend this individual assignment deadline by another 2 weeks. It can August 2nd week එකට මම deadline එක ගෙනියන්න. Right? For the time being with it, just start to and finish video. With that, you don't need to prepare 2 separate reports. Right? In one report, you can include both tasks. Mention correctly task number 1 and write down the content related to task 1. Once you complete task 1 in the same document, start task number 2. You can වෙනම දෙකක් reports ඕනේ නැහැ. Task 1 එකටයි task 2 එකට එක report එකයි ඕනේ. Task 1 එක මුලින් කරලා ඉවර කරලා ඊට පස්සේ task 2 එකේ report එකේම යට ලියන්න. දෙකක් ඕනේ නැහැ. Right? Task 2 you can easily understand and you can do it, right? There's nothing to explain. You need to select a manufacturing company and you need to understand the existing process type, right? And you need to like evaluate it and you need to suggest some improvements or recommendations for that existing process type. You need to identify the existing layout, right? And then you need to see whether it's appropriate for the company or not. If you feel it's not appropriate, then you can suggest another layout for the company. If you agree with the existing layout, then you can mention further like, you can give some recommendations to improve the existing facility layout. Right? Task 1 is different, right? It's based on location planning. You should know factor rating method. So there's a small calculation to do, right? So once I finish it, then you can start task number 1. But with the this is just a request, just start task number 2 and complete with you. එතකොට task 2 මේ 1 task 2 එක කරලා ඉවර කරලා තියාගන්න task 1 එක විතරනේ ඊට පස්සේ කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා මේ දවස් ටිකේ task 2 එක කරලා ඉවර කරලා තියාගන්න. Task 1 එක then you can start once I finish the chapter number 6. Right? Read the assignment. If there's anything that you want to clarify, ask from me. Then I will provide you with the clarifications. Right? It's not a technically difficult assignment, but it's very easy. Right? So my advice is to start task number 2 and complete it. Then once I complete chapter number 6, you can start and finish task 1. Let me take the attendance. Yes. I